Hello everybody, Sarah Gordon here. I thought I would put a quick screencast together for you to see how sections of a student's reflective account, how she's used the data through this, but also I'm going to go through a few elements taken from the Research Methods in Early Childhood book and hopefully just unpick it to give you a good grounded starting point to use your data in your assignment. Okay, so let's start. So, Research Methods in Early Childhood. I've mentioned this book several times in the weekly overviews. I think it's a really important book for you to be referring to at the moment while you're doing your research. I've certainly found it really interesting and really useful. So, they have two chapters in that book, chapter 14 and chapter 18. One's all about questionnaires, and one's all about analysing and sharing your findings. And it will also help you to broaden your reading and your literature review around research methods in early childhood. Okay? So, let's have a look. I don't know where to start. And I totally understand that feeling. And it really is something that we all feel when we're starting to do a big piece of work or a big piece of research. Blackster describes research as a messy business, and it is at this stage that you may feel it is at its most messy. You've got your questionnaires, you've sent them out, you've got your responses. How on earth do you unpick all that information that they give you to make sense of it to put in your written work? So in the book, Research Methods, there is a case study that I just wanted to pull out here and quickly just have a look at. So it's about Kerry, who wanted to find out early years practitioners' views on the benefits and barriers to partnership with parents. So all straight away, that is Kerry's brief. That's what she wants to do. She wants to find the barriers to partnership with parents. So she undertook semi-structured interviews. And what she did was she wrote down the responses and she gave them codes. Okay, and on the right hand side you can see the codes. So 1, difficulties in finding time to talk to parents. 2, parents help practitioners get to know about children. 3, parents can support children's learning at home. 4, sometimes parents don't follow the rules. 5, parents sometimes have different expectations than practitioners. And 6, parents can be very helpful in the setting. So she created these codes, which then allowed her to look at all the responses she had there, you can see on the left-hand side, and then code them. So this has helped her see, okay, so how many have I got in the 1 code? How many of these responses show that there's difficulties in finding time? Or how many responses fall in the sometimes parents don't follow the rules? And then you can start to see, for instance, that there seems to be more in the 1 and 2 categories. It just gives you an overview really to see, is there a common theme coming through this interview that I held with parents, or is it sporadic? What is it telling me? Really, what you want from these interviews or your questionnaires are, what is it telling me about my research? Okay, so moving on. So identifying the themes and the relationships amongst these codes and categories. So there were benefits, and the 2 main themes were benefits for the children and benefits for the staff. And then there were barriers. And these 2 main themes were barriers practical, such as issues of time, and that parents want, the barrier between what the parents want and what the practitioners want. And this makes it very clear for you to write this up. So if you have your benefits, and you can see that, and pull out 2 main themes from your questionnaires, and the barriers, what were the barriers and the 2 main themes that came from that? This enables you to be quite concise in your writing, because some of us, what happens when we're writing is we go down a rabbit warren and we go off on many tangents, and it starts to make our writing come across as a bit messy without direction. So if we can, in the planning parts of our writing, if we can look at these themes and stick with them, it makes it much easier for a reader to follow. Okay, so moving on. Then we're developing the concepts and arriving at some generalized statements to put in your writing. So from using that case study again, meaning, what was the meaning? Well, it was relating things back to your research question. So how can you relate what you've found back to your research question? Because we need to keep going back to that every time. And the conclusions. Do your findings allow you to make generalized conclusions about the topic? Do they allow you to suggest further research? Or is it developing a narrative explanation? And then, but then you can develop a narrative explanation of the findings. Okay? And Denscomb's work is explained a bit further actually in the Research Methods in Early Childhood book. So I've just pulled this out quickly to finish off this screencast. So he looks at 3 possible aims, okay, of analysis: description, explanation, and interpretation. So really the description is what, when, who, and how. Explanation, how things are connected, and then look for patterns. So these next few slides, I've used the students' work that we've had permission to refer to. I've referred to her before in some of my other screencasts, but what I'm hoping to do is link parts of her writing with these 3 areas. So if we look at description, the what, when, who, how, and when, how often, the bits of her written work that she has quite clearly linked to these areas. So the first bit, assessment, planning and observation cycle used in early year settings and how the cycle supports the development of individual children. Description. To gain research and compare approaches between settings in this area, I used a semi-structured questionnaire to obtain knowledge on different setting processes of the cycle. Again, the description. And the questionnaire was completed by a practitioner who is also currently studying in the early years university course. Very clear on what she's hoping to achieve. Then if we look at the explanation section, how things are connected, these are the areas of her writing that I've just pulled out as examples. So if we look at the first one, to investigate the process of the cycle within another early years setting, I developed a semi-structured questionnaire with a range of closed and open questions. And just to point out here, she makes reference to her literature reading, okay? Semi-structured questionnaires are a useful data collection tool as researchers can easily distribute them to a large group of participants. So that's her further research and link to literature. She then goes on to say that there is a disadvantage of this, and she makes that quite clear, linking it again to her literature. And then at the bottom she talks about, from the questionnaire, she found that the primary school setting used their learning journeys to highlight any areas which they believed a child required assistance in, and use these to create their next steps development. So she's explaining and she's making connections. Moving on to the third part of this process, interpretation, looking for patterns. You want to see if there are patterns coming through from your questionnaires. So what this student has said is that from her questionnaire, she wanted to gain an insight into how the setting planned to meet each child's individual needs. Their practitioner related their answer to planning specific outcome-related activities, which will encourage development, but also referred to planning to meet children's interests. She also found that using a semi-structured questionnaire as a research method has been an efficient method on comparing practice. Okay, it's also enabled her to gain the knowledge and views of practitioner efficiently and whilst allowing them to remain anonymous. So that's a very brief overview, but I hope I've unpicked some areas that have been concerning you when it comes to using your questionnaire data. You can do this. You've got this. Study your questionnaires responses. What are they telling you? How do they relate to your research questions? And what conclusions have they allowed you to draw? Okay, thank you.